Go? I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I thank you for joining me again on another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to show up. Another opportunity for us to consider what controls us. That is the thing I want to talk about today. I've been busy doing things and stuff. And as I'm in this state of busyness, I ask myself, why? Why am I do? Right? Why am I doing anything at all? And then thinking about it from a perspective of control. There is, as of late, a little bit of a financial incentive for me to do things. And being financially incentivized might help, right? Relatively speaking. However, uh, I find myself almost like trying to bring it back to love, as you do, right? That the reason I'm doing these things is because I love to help. I love to be of service. I love to feel useful, right? And then it brought up this topic in my mind of like, what is it that controls us? Almost like thinking about how it's impossible for me to not be controlled by something. Hey, Joy V, it's nice having you here. Right? Either I'm controlled by my hunger in a moment and I get myself an apple, or I'm controlled by sleepiness and then I go to bed, or I'm controlled by desire, right? In maybe the pursuit of someone, or I am controlled by financial incentive in trying to make a product or offer a service, or I'm controlled by our societal obligations and expectations, right? And like as I've thought about this control fractal, it just became more and more clear to me how many layers of control there is. And it made it almost impossible for me to not realize that I will be controlled some way. Today I shall lurk, lest I get myself in trouble. Are you controlling yourself? It seems. It seems she's controlling herself right now. Right? Like there's something that's gonna control us. And I would like to believe we can choose. I think we as human beings, at least at this point in our time in history, have the unique opportunity to choose what controls us. I don't know if we'll be able to choose our desires or not. We can't exactly choose not to be hungry. We can't choose not to be sleepy. So those things will still have some level of control on our lives as well. And now that I've introduced what I thought about this stream topic, I want to share what Loizana shared with me. She inspired this conversation to go a little bit more towards the direction of women and how maybe from a masculine perspective, control and being controlled means something different to me than it means to the average woman, right? And this is not me trying to be sexistic. Yes, sexistic, sexisms. It's more, again, echoing what Loizana said. And to think of it and to put it in like a cultural context, if you think about how many women have been suppressed throughout our species history, control is something different, right? Depending on from which eyes you're looking from, depending on which gender you identify with. Because for the longest time, control was almost like the role of the masculine, right? Like the men of our planet were the ones that try to control not only the resources, not only the people around them, but their women, right? Like, and there was, I'll give you the cliff notes. There was a situation this weekend where I don't want to dox them. I don't want to say just outright who they are, but there was a person who was already in a relationship, and she had moved in with this person she was in a relationship with. But this person she's in a relationship with works away from home all the time, right? So this weekend, she decides that she's gonna go because he's away for work this weekend. So she decides she's gonna go on an adventure to Centurion with her sister, and to that, her now ex-partner said no. And these were the exact word that he used. I will not allow it. She told him, I'm gonna go out with my sister, and he told her, I will not allow it. Right? And fortunately, she doesn't allow herself to be controlled like that. So now she's moving out somewhere in this week. Right? And it's just this fractal of like, geez, for a long time, many men literally believed that about the partners they had, that it wasn't a person, but a piece of property to be owned, to be controlled, right? That doesn't have a say of its own. And just seeing that still being a problem in 2024 kind of like echoes the truth in what Lozana is saying. It's been a big fucking problem for a very long time. Never mind, even if we're going to talk about the control of what you are and are not allowed to do with your body. The control that comes with needs, right? That it might be a fractal of, you might not be directly controlled, but you might not have skills, you might not have opportunities, you might not have the right contacts. There's a beautiful black bird sitting on that pillar that I'm looking at. You might not have the wherewithal even to take care of yourself, right? And this is again not a call out, but a circumstance. Maybe you're again on a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere. The only thing you can kind of do in that moment is be dependent on this person you are in a relationship with, right? And in that way, the control becomes a little bit more sinister, because now it's not an even playing field, right? It's one thing, and I feel it's like a little bit of a playful battle that I take on with the world. Give me 1 second. Goodness. Me and my dropping of things today. There we go. It's one thing if it was an even playing field, and I don't necessarily think it is, to be honest, for me either, right? This planet seems to be pretty set in its ways. It has pretty robust systems of control, let's say it that way, right? But when it comes to like two people and the control that kind of arises in that situation, if one person holds all the power, right? If one person is the one that is the breadwinner and the person that pays for everything, there is a sense of them almost having the say, right? Having the last say, having the first and last say kind of vibes, right? And I feel, because again of how our society is structured right now, it makes that situation possible. I believe money, just ownership of money in and of itself allows for situations like that to arise. So something, don't let yourself be controlled by money, something. Yeah. Meld, you were at first talking like this was something happening in the past, but then you self-corrected. It's rampant. I did. And then I, through the anecdote of the story, was like, wait a second. Well, hold up. It's actually happening today, right now. Sam, trouble looks under its bed at night for Sam. Don't you worry about trouble. Love is true. Good morning, Meat Sags. Love you. It's nice having you here too, Dr. Dude, you want to talk about control of women? I'm reading Stephen King's The Stand. The book takes place in a different kind of 1990s USA, and every new female character introduced gets slapped. Like, actually? Like, as in that's how fucked up the world is, or that's how fucked up Stephen King is? Unfortunately, of Stephen King's writing, I don't actually know. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and he is historically terrible at writing women characters. It is known. Also, he does the magical Negro thing a lot in his books. Sigh. Yeah, overcompensation. I don't know what those words mean that you just said. Maybe you can tell me. All people are magical. I'll just say, I'm probably not helping my case, but yes. Joe, he dropped some. Ours in the right away too. I guess it's a good thing that history has come far enough for those things to be uncomfortable to me as the penis variety human. Jeez. I need I need some weed right now. Duck that is making me miss my Dynamax. Joey, not Joe. Sorry about that. If I made a mistake as well. This is some of the homegrown that we grew here on that little mountain. The mother is a strawberry gorilla, but I'm not sure if this is my fog monster or my Russian gorilla plant. What I am sure of is that it smells amazing. It smells absolutely incredible. I approve this message. I think I have shared the gist of what I wanted to talk about today, though. I think I opened a new can of worms with the whole other side of it, and I think we're gonna probably go a little bit deeper into that fractal. And I opened the space for you friends to tell me about that. Right? And again, the whole how are you choosing to control yourself? Because there is a certain level of like letting yourself be controlled kind of sometimes. Right? And I want that to be a part of the topic, a part of our consideration, that there are things that are controlling us and we are letting them. All right? And we should very much consider that. We should be like that. Men want NPCs. Again, the word men includes me. Many men, I think. For some reason, I just read men. Many men want NPCs. Yeah, it's true. I want a girl who will laugh for no one else. When I'm away, she puts her makeup on the shelf. When I'm away, she doesn't leave the house. I want a girl who laughs for no one else. I don't know if that was a song lyric, but that kind of feels like the mindset of this person I was just telling you friends about. Like, can you imagine that? Like, yossi, bro. Like, that would literally be the number one way of ending a relationship with me. Is me sharing with you what I'm doing, and you telling me I won't allow it. Excuse me, what? What do you mean? Do you think you were king? You are not. You are not. Joy, the Blue Album was the best. Hello, friends. That kind of now, when you say the Blue Album, now sounds, after reading that, sounds like a Bo Burnham line. Is it a Bo Burnham line? Control of women by the opposite sex goes back to a misunderstanding of the original sin perpetuated on purpose by the church to justify and give permission to the hate in their hearts to exist. Yeah, I agree. Right? Original sin. You can't win with original sin. Isn't that also a Bo Burnham song? I think so. I think it is. Right? Original sin means you are born into sin. You are born sinful. The very act of your mother getting laid, and I'm sorry for saying it like that, and birthing you as a result of that, is a sin according to the Christian religion. You are born of sin, and your mother needs to be washed as well, to get all the sin off of her for birthing you into this world. Like, it's, yeah, and of course, as Sam beautifully said, that gives you kind of like leeway, gives you ammunition to hate, right? You get to hate everyone because all of them are sinful. The Magical Negro is a trope in cinema, television, and literature. The Magical Negro is a supporting stock character who comes to the aid of the white protagonist in a film. Dot 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 more. Yeah, so it's like, oh, we're gonna have like people of differing genders, or Africans in our plot line, but they'll only be here to help. Does it have to be specifically the white protagonist? Does it only work if it's a white protagonist, as in that terminology? I'm curious as well. Jobat, we love her. The too long didn't read is that Eve was deceived, which is not a sin. Adam knew better, still he bit. Then blamed his wife and her devil, and her devil tits for his inability to not think with his dingaling. I do like that, Sam. That's a very nice way of saying it. Not only that for me, right? Because I take like a third stance. There's like, yes, whatever, getting deceived by Satan or whatever's, right? And then yes, getting deceived by the woman, or lured or seduced by the woman. But the third stance for me is God, at least according to the Bible, is all knowing, all seeing, right? So God was chilling. God was just chilling, watching this whole thing unfold, right? God knew by putting that tree in the middle of the fucking garden that they're gonna eat of it eventually. That's like putting a big bowl of sweets in the middle of the table. And then you surround that bowl of sweets with everything else, all of the other good things to eat as well. And then you tell a bunch of kids, right, literal children, because they didn't have any context other than bare consciousness and world. So literal children. You tell literal children, don't eat this, all right? All of the other things, all night you can eat, but not this. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen, right? Like, it makes me genuinely, like, unironically, I'm gonna say this, even though I might get some flack for it, but it makes me question the intelligence of someone who believes that story to be empirical truth, right? So not only did God know in the whole way of setting up that world that it was gonna happen, he was watching it happen. And not only did he know that it was gonna happen, and not only did he watch it happen, he allowed it to happen. Because again, Satan was given dominion over earth, where it just so happens that the crown of God's creation, humanity, resides as well. Why not put Satan on the other side of the universe? Right? Why give him dominion over earth? Why? Right? So upon giving him dominion over earth, that means Satan is now amongst us. Right? And then he watched Satan enter the Garden of Eden. Like, not only the crown of his creation, but like where the crown of his creation exists. Right? Like the only one little spot. Let Satan in there. And then just lets him continue to manipulate, right? Like, just to fucking, it pisses me off. I know this story so well, and I've thought about it so many times throughout the years, and it makes me more angry every time I think about it. Literally the first story. All right. Good morning, Pojo. It's nice having you here with us. Kristen, you too, dear friends, and the 11s. Weezer writes great women like they've never seen. Writes Weezer definitely writes women like they've never seen one before, which checks out because they were nerds. Sounds about right. Way to use devils in the conversation. God was just chilling. And my Sims are going to light the fireplace surrounded by carpets and plants. You bet I'm gonna remove the fire alarms and doors. Yeah, as a human, maybe, but as an almighty God, right, that like really hypes about how much he loves us. Really? Really, bro? Like, really? Like, seriously? I'm gonna, yeah. We've kind of like moved past this as well, in my mind at least. hmm Weezer wrote a song titled Suzanne, one of the best songs they ever produced. I didn't hear that one. Not unless you want to see a carpet fire. Does the magical Negro only work with a white protagonist? How many movies don't have a white protagonist? Go ahead and count up your fingers and let me know how many fingers you got left. Depends on where you watch movies from. I've watched my fair share of Bollywood movies, right? There's no white guys there, and I love it too, right? In fact, there's parts of Bollywood movies that I like more than traditional Western, American media. Like they don't care. They don't care about being ridiculous, and I love that, right? They make like I'm seeing this scene from RRR, another Bollywood movie, where someone like throws something at one of the commanders, and then this giga chat of a dude literally throws himself into a crowd of like 1,000 people, like a mob, an angry mob of 1,000 people, and he slays. He ends up beating ass of that mob until he gets the person who threw that thing, and he drags that person through the mob, right? Holding on to them, still fighting the mob, drags that person back to the camps, right? I've never in my life seen anything like that in Western TV, and it's so poignant. It's like, I remember, I remember that scene so fondly. I know, Joy V, I know, but you were like, see how many fingers you have left. So I had to go the other way. You can't control me. You can't control the narrative, Joy V. I say. I would love to have a call with you on this exact subject, Melt. The real story you'd find very eye-opening. If you read the story as like a psychological drama, of like telling people not to do things, and then they're likely to do things. If you're telling a story about manipulation, if you're telling a story about being seduced, if you're telling a story about uh, being told a story about someone else lying, right? That kind of manipulation, like, oh, this person is lying to you, do this and that. It's a great psychological story if that's how you see it. But as soon as you start taking it into your worldview as fact, that's where the wheels come off. So yeah, you know goddamn well we're talking about Hollywood, not Bollywood. Don't be like that. I'm sorry, Javi. It's true. There's a bunch of white people in movies, right? I won't argue with that. But again, and weirdly enough, it was something I was mildly thinking about today. Like my skin color doesn't really come up in my own mind, right? Like I won't go about my day, do one thing, do another thing, do other thing, and be like, oh yeah, I'm white, and then go on with my thought process, right? That doesn't ever happen. Like ever, never, like never to the ever has that happened to me, right? So every time that it comes up, I'm not even white, like I'm pink and shades of browns. So many of them, no, like so many colors, so many of them, right? And again, like I feel like it's a fractal of seeing yourself, right? And I get that too. Wanting to see yourself on the screen, wanting to relate to the other person. But again, I don't think it's a skin color thing for me. For instance, right? Watching Spider-Man, right? A part of me would like to identify with, I think he's Hispanic, that Hispanic Spider-Man year 2100 or something like that. But I resonate with the punk rocker Spider-Man, who is also a black character, right? I look at him and I see myself. The color of his skin has nothing to do with me seeing myself in that character. It is the way they carry themselves. It's the character, right? Your skin has nothing to do with your character. And I feel like it is getting better, at the very least, right? There definitely is more. Like, they cloned Tyrone. Have you seen they cloned Tyrone? I thought that was pretty good, as an an African based, like African cast. And it's probably, African American. I don't know if that's important for me to say. Isn't? Should I say that? Where's Young? Show. If you haven't seen it, it is good. And it technically goes into the whole fractal of manipulation and like white power over trying to exert control, right? It's actually good show for what we're talking about today. You don't need to consider your skin color / race because you're considered the default and not the other. The default. That sounds kind of fucking lame. Sounds like I was lazy. Sounds like I didn't, like scroll down the different skin colors bar. I just hit default. Jeez. Oh, no, 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 no. Nightmare Before Christmas. Who's the protagonist? The Bag of Box. I do love Bollywood though. Yeah, bless them. When talking about the story of Adam and Eve, the thing to keep in mind is that it's been simplified and changed, like the story of Medusa, to keep hidden the real events so they cannot be repeated. That's making me miss my Dynavap. I'm gonna add some heat. Click. Hmm. Hmm. I wonder how much we've been controlled just simply by race. That's the thing that came into my mind. I was like, Yassi, what a stream topic we've had as I was considering. And I was like, what is happening? I asked myself, I'm so sorry. And then it becomes apparent to me that we're being controlled. We're being controlled right now. We have literally the infinity to think about, and then we think about people's skin color. Right? The rest is the same: eyes, brains, organs, hopes, and dreams. It's literally like a microscopic layer. How deep does skin go, actually? I wonder. I'll find out. Mm. How deep does the skin color go? Let's see. Melanin extends through different layers. Here's the precise breakdown. I don't want precise breakdown. Epidermis, dermis. Give me a number. No, blah, blah. Give me a number in millimeters, please. I just want. There we go. It's between 0.05 and 1.5 millimeters thick. All right? So 1.5 millimeters is about that. Like about that. Right? We have spent the last 20 minutes stuck on a layer this thick. All right. If I skin myself and I'm just muscle and sinew, I don't want to finish my sentence. The rest of my sentence was, and if I skin you and you're just muscle and sinew, we're gonna look relatively the same, no matter what our skin color was when we started. Jeez. Please, I'm a picture person. I'll stop it. All right. One time, the only time I ever say, "Hey, I'm white," is when I see my bare ass in the mirror after a shower. Since the rest of me is so bronze, that probably checks out as well. Maybe like when you take off your socks as well. I'm guessing. Hmm. Yes, I've seen They Clone Tyrone. That shit was wild. It was pretty wild. But it was good. I like wild stuff like that. Joy, that's the hardest point to make to most people. I don't even understand what it would be like to be black and see every TV, commercial, or movie as different looking than my day to day. Uh, like maybe it's because I've lived in a lower income bracket than most of you friends, but I have never looked at any TV commercial or movie and was like, yes, that's my life. Right? Like, unfortunately, the lives we end up seeing in media is like outliers. The extremes. We get shown the extremes. That's usually not how it be. And again, I feel like maybe one of the things that is kind of like misrepresented is the difference it makes, I guess. Right? I can honestly say I don't think being white has made a difference in my life when it comes to having more privilege or less. Maybe being born to white parents, right, put them in a position before me because my dad studied, right, so he at least had education. That put me in a position to grow up in a higher income bracket, right? But that has nothing to do with my skin, technically, right? I believe the biggest differentiating factor is what you are controlled by. And all of us are controlled by something. Again, if you are being controlled by your skin color, please stop. Please stop that. I don't think it's good for you. Sure, be proud. Sure, like embrace your culture. But your skin is literally 0.05 to at most 1.5 millimeters of you. Right? There's a lot more depth. There's a significant amount of extra depth just on a body level, but even more so on a psychological, interpersonal, emotional, spiritual level, right? Like your skin color doesn't matter to me. And I try to not like I guess it's important. It's important, right? And I guess maybe there is a fractal of me not thinking it matters is a part of my white privilege, right? And I can hear that as well. And sure, if that is how it needs to be interpreted. But I don't think we can solve this problem with the same minds that created it in that way, right? Like at what point does it become a problem? I think you have to be taught how to be a racist anyway, right? Like it has to be something that you're taught. Because I've seen so many cases, right? Like with myself, and this sounds like a weird thing to say, but black babies. Uh, I've seen more black babies in my life than I've seen white babies, right? It helps that I live in South Africa. But when I see a black baby, it brings joy to my heart, right? And I do the same things. I like wave at and smile at black babies the same way I do with white babies. And there is always a reception, right? Like sometimes there's like, and again, it's a person, it's an interpersonal thing. Sometimes there's a shyness, right, where they look away. Sometimes there's like a recognition that I'm trying to share kindness in that moment. And then more often than not, right, I also make a point of like making it clear to the mother holding onto that baby that I am wishing them well, right? And like it's so apparent in their faces as well with the smile they reciprocate that there is there is a life, right, in that moment. And the more good that life sees, the more nodes, right, of good, the easier it is for that life to control their own thoughts about what they believe when they look at it, right? And I feel like that's the role every single one of us has to play. And I don't know if labeling a person with skin color orientation or whatever, right? Skin color, this your skin color is helpful. It's another label that serves no one, serves nothing, right? Oh, jeez, this is fucking pissing me off. Fuck. Why is it pissing me off so much? Think it's because we've been fucking talking about this shit for like thousands of years, right? Like thousands of years. Humanity has had race as one of its issues. Jeez, get the fuck over it, please. Oh, jeez, like it's like immaturity, you know. It's like imagining a bunch of kids, you know, squawk about something, and you're the teacher, and you're like pulling your hair out, just wishing they would shut up. That's kind of the vibe I'm feeling right now in my soul. Oh, would it have been easier? Would my life have been harder if I was born as a different skin color? I would like to believe, and this is my own hubris, and I acknowledge that, but I would like to believe I would be the exact same person. Maybe person is not the right word to say. I'd be the exact same ego. I might not be the exact same person, but I would be the exact same ego. I would still be here for the exact same reason, as another way to say it. And I think all of us are here for the exact same reason, that is, despite your skin color, show up for love. Boom. Bringing it back to what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. Seems a little ridiculous that the real reason of Adam and Eve would be so hidden that we don't repeat it. Maybe it's the isms in me, but how about you tell me what not to do by showing me the real obvious humans aren't doing well with cryptic meaning? Yeah. It's almost like we're stupid or something, right? And we need to be given clear instructions. Or to contrast that, Doug, to have seen so many black commercials where the actors are singing, dancing, or playing sports, it's not too prevalent these days, but growing up it was wild. Like there was some kind of hip hop playlist or pickup basketball game around every corner just for black folks. Is that a bad thing? Like I don't know what your tone is right now, Joy Vive, because I'm reading in text. Is that a bad thing? Again, for me, it's pandering, right? I see it as pandering. All of it is pandering. It's like you are in commercials, you're trying to sell a product. And if you're trying to sell a product to a white person, you make white people, oh, wow, so great. And if you want to sell a product to a black person, the exact same, right? So in my mind, it's just pandering. Like we've been labeled to be pandered to. It's easier to pander to different people once they believe they're different. Does that make sense? Checks out for me. Mm-hmm. New, new. 1 millimeter is about 2 sewing needle stick. Yeah, that's nothing. It's nothing. Throw an ultra ball. I came from a grid. I came from off grid and wanted to say there was a sweet human who said she felt she was melting, to which I responded, how Mel chose his name. That is pretty cool. Yeah, tell her to melt more. Joy, I totally know what the point you're making. So following the bit of tongue in cheek, watching black people play sports and sing and dance is what made me think they were awesome. Boom. More life hacks. More good coming off of these stereotypes. Louisiana sending 11s. Lurky lurky. You smirky turkey buggy dudes love you. Bro, I lived in a very low income bracket. However, it's surrounded by high income. So those things make you feel like you're one of the pack, even though you're not. I think a lot of us, you've grown up in a city with such a small population. Even your biggest city is still not 4 million people, and then another million around the big city. Yeah. I did live in Shanghai for a while that had 25 million people in a single city. That was quite an experience, quite a shock coming from South Africa. But yeah, we do not have that. I mean, hey Google, how many people live in Gauteng? That thing is saying 16 million. That is a lot of people. So I technically live just on the edge of Gauteng, like just like right on the nipperty. But that little spot on South Africa has 16 million people in it. It's a little bit bigger than a city, but most of those people are in the cities. Gauteng is our number one population center in South Africa. Man, he's been white all his life and has the audacity to say that being white and male has given him no privileges. My eyes are rolling out of my skull right now. Okay, but that's the point I was trying to make, Joy Vive, right? Uh, I haven't been given any privileges. I got out of high school, and then after I got out of high school, I was jobless. So I had to proceed to look for a job. I sent a bunch of companies a message. Nobody replied to me because I live in South Africa, Joy Vive. I live in South Africa. We have something called BEE, which means every single company, if they want to be tax compliant and if they want to do government work, they have to be BEE compliant, which means that 50% of their company has to be owned and staffed by Africans, right? So if they have an employee base already, which might have been white traditionally in our country, they now have literal financial incentive to not hire white people. So I didn't get a single job for the first 3 months of me looking actively. The only way I could get a job is by sending my uncle a message, by nepotisming. That's the only way I could get a job, right? My uncle already owned a company who was doing like installation work in the AV industry, working for the government. He gave half his company to a black person just to be able to do work for a government, right? I met this guy. He was a cool guy, but he was a kid. He was younger than me at that point when I started working for my uncle. You know what he was doing? He was studying to become an actor. And he was a 50% company owner, getting paid hundreds of thousands of rands a month simply for being black, right? That's how it works in my country. I've met people like that. Then I proceeded to work my ass off. I proceeded to work 12-hour days, getting paid $350 a month, which off my rent was $200. So I had $150 for food and for other expenses. Well, it was not other expenses, for food, right? That was my reality. And then I got so fucking fed up with that I had to leave my country and go to China to teach English because I know how to speak English, right? And there's Africans there as well, black South Africans who are doing the exact same thing in China. So that isn't a white privilege thing either, right? The coolest people I met in China were black, which is kind of ironic. But anyway, right? So then I came back from there, right? After I was there, detained, literally got arrested. I literally got arrested in my classroom, right? Despite being white. And then I came back here to South Africa, and then again, jobless, right? I searched for a bit, didn't search very hard, to be completely honest, because still I'm an unskilled laborer. So I had to do something for myself. And then nobody gave me anything, right? Nobody started showing up for me. Nobody had to give me instructions. Everything that I've been able to get came from hard work, Joy Vive, not from skin color, not from being penis, right? No, none of it. None of it. Nobody has ever fucking given me a break of being like, oh, shame, you're a white guy. Oh, shame. Let me pat you on the back a little bit. No. Fucking no. That's not how it is. It's not how it is. You can roll eyes, but I have lived my life. Thank you very much. And I have lived my life in South Africa, and I know how things work in South Africa. Right, unfortunately. You also grew up with the internet. That is true. I grew up without it in the beginning, so I had no way of knowing that I wasn't one of the haves. I hear you. Mel, that's the literal definition of white privilege. Sure. Right, and then we're going to continue down the trajectory we're going right now in South Africa, and then we can label people with black privilege. oh, you have black privilege, and then we can like, oh, woe is me, oh, shame, you and your black privilege. No, no, I don't do that. I just did it as an example, but that's not something I talk about, right? You haven't heard me talk about that because it's not a part of my life. It's not a part of my decision making. It's not a part of my control, right? Can't fucking control me with skin color bullshit. I was a part of the yoga circle yesterday morning. This made us all check our white privilege. The human that led us learned in a temple, and his name in Sanskrit means Lord of Truth. That's pretty cool. Privileged is such a triggering word these days, but you're right, Joy. Know I have privilege as a white dude. I can drive with weed in my car and not have to worry about being pulled over. Yeah, I can't. I can't. I have literally, because I'm a white guy and I look the way I do, been pulled over by the police, and my weed has been stolen from me by the police, right? As a white guy. So again, right? Like maybe you have white privilege in America, where you're from, and you've seen that working that way, but that's not how it is. I have not in my life met a single white police officer, right? Again, to think of the differences in your worldviews. Your police, in your mind, is probably mostly white guys, right? It's not how it is here as well. Like, it's just fucking control. Yes, I'm getting more and more triggered. Breathes. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, JV. Well done. That's a great synopsis. We'll check back later. Yeah. Yeah, Mela Raccoon. I'm gonna hit a donut after that. We've had this conversation on stream as well a few times, and every single time it leads us to the same place. I think that's actually why I'm getting so triggered about it. It's like, you see. Have I not shown you, friend, my character? Have I not shown up every single day for thousands of days, showing to you how hard it is to make something of yourself in this world? White or not, doesn't fucking matter. There's no privileges in being white. Not in this country. Quite literally the opposite. And if you don't believe me, go and Google it. Go and research for yourself what's going on in our country. Right? Go and find out. Go and do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. Gotta go. Bless you. Sorry, Mellow Raccoon, for being so spicy as well. Bless you, Natalie. I found your comment. I hope you have a good day. Enjoy your festival or your post festival washing up. That is going to be good. Yeah. Thank you for being willing to acknowledge that, Louisiana. Cece. I'm doing I'm doing pretty well actually, Cece. Things are great. I've been allowed more and more opportunities. You know, I had to do nothing. I just got to like sit on my ass and be white, and then people just started giving me things. You know, they were like, "Here, do this job for us, and we'll pay you all of the money." You know, your whitedness. Yeah, I don't know why are you doing this, Joy Vive? Like, and I was like really considering. I'd spent a moment really considering, and I guess I was like considering it from a perspective of like trying to understand, because I always try to pull a lesson from my moments of this universe, right? Because I'm here to grow, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to be right, right? I'm here to discover, to learn more about myself. And then I realized that there is clearly some sort of there's clearly some sort of a narrative being pushed here, and it is a form of control, right? It is a form of control, like trying to control the narrative, trying to control my state of being, trying to control the words I'm saying, right? Because I'm being very clear, and then there is a clear manipulation of the words I'm saying, right? And that is control. That is control. So I get it. I do understand what's happening,
Uh,
but I will not allow it to mess with my state of being. Yeah.
so, Johan Hipner, the guy who does the karaoke at the Wat Stol,
Mm-hmm.
so he sent me a link. Wat Stol is hosting a music competition for like bands and stuff. That's like gonna start August and beginning of November. Uh, the prizes includes a recording contract with Universal Music.
That seems a little bit extreme. I mean, that's an incentive to get smelt running.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're probably then gonna just do if that Fraxel checks out, gonna write English music on this.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
get in with Universal Music, is a no-brainer.
Yep, yep. What a trip, dude.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And he already knows like most of the bands and stuff that have been like uh inscriptions and
Mhm.
stuff, because it's like it starts with social media, video type stuff. Yeah, he knows most of them. So
No chance.
they're very rough and some.
I mean, Stefan knows what he's doing.
Uh,
Maybe you can make yourself a, eyes closed kind of track.
yes, yes. But if I can check out, that'll be fantastic. I'll write English music all day long.
Just the practice will be worth it anyway, dude. Even if it doesn't end up happening.
Yeah.
The hype.
Mm.
I mean, Stefan is the one who told you about it, right?
No, Johan.
Johan was?
The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said
Yeah.
we have to enter.
But hey, bro. No plan. Do you want a recording contract with Universal?
With Universal, probably, because even though it is monopoly vibes, so they will own like a good 60-70% of all my income, but the income I wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, record labels.
Maybe you can just stay under a pseudonym as well.
I'm a laughing. What the odds?
I am pretty blazed right now. Feeling nice. Feeling in control.
So when I do go to Stefan next time we meet up, I just want to know if you or Matt want to go with, because we're gonna have to like make a video and everything.
I'm probably gonna be the one that does
that. Because we wanna like with the entry video already like just focus on extreme quality.
Bro, we should do mapping.
we,
Dude, why not? Why not? Like, I mean,
we just need a projector.
yeah. Why not?
When we perform,
Yeah.
in the competition,
Yeah.
randomly, here is projector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly, people's minds are like, what? Hold on. Because you have to make them see it. Is the people from Universal gonna be there? How's it gonna work?
No, probably send a representative that has the jurisdiction of this.
To decide.
And there's like a judge panel of like higher ups and stuff. So
That is pretty cool. Huzzah, dude. Opportunities abound.
it's just weird to me that it's like at Buttstall.
Yeah.
Especially this whole fractal. has
Feels like a
already
scam.
been, yeah,
It's like, am I getting scammed right now?
like you sing your karaoke now. Come sing here.
Come see here, professionaries. I mean,
Yeah, they did also say the winners will also secure gigs at all the Buttstall franchises during 2025.
that could be cool, dude.
And then probably higher, like, paid level gigs, proper gigs, not
Yeah.
4 grand a gig. So,
What a world we live in. I think it's gonna be fun. Do you want like something? Yeah, I'll just have the HD audio and I'll record something and then I'll cut
yeah,
it together.
probably, because we're probably going to record video, but we're going to record our audio through the desk first,
Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
afterwards, after we've
You're
mixed.
gonna give me the audio file.
Yeah.
We're gonna like play with a cell phone speaker or something or with Tway
Yeah.
your music over while recording, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah, because Chassis, bro, I've heard some of the entry videos now already, and it's like people just found out this competition is happening, didn't prep or do any effort into it, just took some random video of them performing in the past somewhere, but then it's like audio through speakers blasting,
From a distance.
and this woman is shouting over this mic, and I'm like, bro, how can you post this? Like, never mind that it's an audition for something.
I mean, like you went down the fractal of like traveling and like really doing it professionally, having to like send in proper auditions,
Yeah.
and like if your audition looks like that you won't get a call back. Right?
Yeah, no.
They're just
the,
like-
the videos also, they were like very anal about it, like.
It has to be good. Lighting has to be right. This amount of your body needs to be visible.
I had to do full body on that one.
That was so awkward. When I started doing modeling, that was the first ever full body photo I took of myself. Dude. It was so hard actually, like getting a photo like that. They're weird. All right. Tense at all. These conversations are what lead to growth and understanding. Yeah, like especially the understanding part. I learn a lot. I learn a lot about myself in these moments. Right, the things that really I feel like it's an injustice. We were talking about race today, bro.
Okay.
And I was told about how many privileges I have as a white person.
Not here.
Thank you. I'm happy that those are the first words that uttered, out of your face.
Yeah.
Not here.
Not
Because
here.
yeah, it
In
doesn't
the world,
work.
probably.
In the world maybe, but not here. It's
No.
not how it works here.
It's completely like lopsided this side, because we are the minority at the
Yeah.
moment,
It's like a massive minority.
and it is majority rule as well. So like governments, all the higher up positions of
all the
corporates,
police.
all the police, all your legal parties, everything is like 99% black people.
Yeah.
Like you can have 30 years of experience in the field and have the most qualifications, and you will just not get that
My
job.
dad is literally jobless right now, dude. He's literally jobless with 30 years of mining engineering experience. Jobless, right? I should tell him he's white. Maybe that's gonna help, dude. I should fucking tell him just, and then suddenly the fucking jobs will abound, bro. Like, and it really pisses me off because it feels like an injustice when people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, but you're a white guy, so no." Like everything that we've gotten, we've had to fucking work our asses off.
Yeah,
for.
I also think like people don't realize how hard it is for people in our generation that are white in South Africa to like find a place in this life, like to find jobs that doesn't just pay you minimum wage, and our minimum wage is not. Even,
Yeah, I was telling them $350.
Yes.
That was what I was getting paid. $350 a month. And your rent is still $200, right?
Yeah, and the food is still.
Yeah, more than that. Like that's when I got really good at fasting.
Yeah.
End of week, I fucking don't eat. I was so stoked when we had like outings. Sometimes we had like these outings, bro. Where they would take us to like corporate clients,
Yeah.
and then these corporate clients would have like a charcuterie boards that they would like feed us. Oh. The amount of like happiness when I was like, oh goodness, I get to eat. I get to fucking eat
Yeah.
today. Maybe that's why I'm so fucking emotional about it, bro. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, like we face a lot in this country. Because the thing is, we get pinned for previous generations' mistakes in this country as well. So not only do are things taken away, or opportunity taken away from you, but you're also ostracized as a monster that is cruel to them. It's very deep, right? It's not.
Thank you, bro. Like I'm very grateful for you being the voice in this space as well right now. You're right on that, Doc Dad. That's nice. CC says, just wants to send some love to everyone. Can't stay, but hope everyone days gets better. Thank you, friend. That helps. As soon as I'm not driving, I'm posting you a smiling picture of Doc Dad in the butterfly shirt in his butterfly garden because it's a beautiful day, my friends, in the waves of emotion wash. Bless you, bro. Thank you. I'm also excited because my giant sunflowers are making some big progress towards blooming. That word has been very present in our minds. Bloom, singing about bloom, bro. I'm finally getting a hold of my own yard and meditative space instead of others. Proud of you, bro. That's super cool, man. I was part of the college groups who signed petitions to persuade our school to divest from South Africa. I don't know if you should be telling me that. Then their world did a 180 and a party was scrapped, and Melt got born into the new world. Yeah. I don't think it's like the voice, no.
What the fuck? This hair is attached to
To
my
one of the
head,
other
bro.
hairs. There's one of the other hairs. So it makes a knot, and then it breaks off from your head, and then it hangs
Oh.
down.
Bro.
Yeah, it's weird. There it goes. I've had one of those as well, where suddenly the hair is like this long.
I'm like, no.
No, my
How
hairs
did
are
this
not
one
that long.
survive
Yeah.
this long?
I sent you the scarf because you're white. Nice. I like this scarf. This is one of the scarves that Joy Beef sent me. And I like it. And I'm not white. I'm not. Like, I should show you this. Look. Look at this. Look. Look at that.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Look at this. This fucking. This is fucking white. Do I look fucking white to you? That's not. It's not the same color. Yes.
You're off pink peach.
I'm Peach. I'm Peach. Call me Peach from now on. Yes. Like that also, bro. Like, and black people are not black. You know, like we're all people. I hate that we have these labels. It fucking schizzes me, dude. And like I said this to them as well today. Like I don't go throughout my day, you know, wake up, oh, you know, start working on this thing, start cooking myself a meal, think about being white, and then part of your worldview of like thinking about your skin color, you know, like I don't think that's helpful. It's not helpful. It's not helping. How could that help? Bless for this opportunity to send you all some love and positive energy. It's nice seeing you, Clint. The evening nurses are the best. Bless the evening nurses at the best hospital in Australia for amazing care. You want to tell us the hospital's name? They would love that. I'm sure. I'm sure they would love us if we said their name. Dude, when one of the nurses, you could, you know, I would like that more, or just the hospital's name too. Dude, when I was growing up poor, my dad would take us all to the corporate events of free food. I did the exact same thing. Yeah, it was very nice. It was very, very nice. I remember going to one some event that had free hot dogs. I was 10 or 11. I ate my age in a hot dogs. Jeez. Like the thing is, unfortunately, as well, right? Like I had to not look like a hungry dog, as to not, you know, embarrass my corporate potential clients or overlords or whatever. So there's also like a certain level of restraint you have to show as well. Oh, sorry for posting. Have a blessed day. Bless. Let me see. Let me see what's happening in general. All right. Here's an interesting quote from an article called "What is White Privilege Really?" by Corey Collins in SPLC Learning for Justice. So, what is white privilege? White privilege is perhaps not a notably, most notably in this era of uncivil discourse, a concept that has fallen victim to its own connotations. The two-word term packs a double whammy that inspires pushback. The word white creates discomfort amongst those who are not used to being defined or described by their race. Great. Literally me, you know, because it's not right, right? Why are we doing that? If I called you black something, right, you would have problems with that as well, right? And then we literally talk about being racists and like how that's bad, and then we're being racists, and that's bad, right? And then we're like, oh no, but it's true.
Like thinking about racism is almost an act of
Racism, yeah. It's like why are you bringing that into your mind? It's not a part of the equation. But let's keep reading. And then two, the word privilege, especially for poor and rural white people, sounds like a word that doesn't belong to them. Wait a second. Like a word that suggests they have never struggled. The defensiveness derails the conversation, which means, unfortunately, the defining white privilege must often begin within defining what it's not. Otherwise, only the choir listens. The people you actually want to reach check out. White privilege is not the suggestion that white people have never struggled. Many white people do not enjoy the privileges that come with relative affluence, such as food security. Many do not experience the privilege that comes with access, such as nearby hospitals. And white privilege is not the assumption that everything a white person has accomplished is unearned. Most white people who have reached a high level of success worked extremely hard to get there. Instead, white privilege should be viewed as built-in advantage, separate from one's level of income or effort. Francis E. Kernel, author of Diversity in the Classroom and Understanding White Privilege, Creating Pathways to Authentic Relationships Across Race, comes close to giving us an encompassing definition. Having greater access to power and resources than people of color in the same situation do. But in order to grasp what this means, it's also important to consider how the definition of white privilege has changed over time. That is a very beautifully put piece, and I feel like it beautifully encompasses, my side of it as well, right? Like I feel, even though I get the whole having greater access to power and resources than people of color, again, in my country, the opposite is true. Literally, like by law, like there are literal legislations that make that literally not the truth, right? So that term cannot apply to me, like even if I get where it comes from, uh, and it's racist using that term as well, and I feel like that should be said. You shouldn't say shit like that to people, right? You shouldn't bring their race into the conversation at all. Today's stream topic was about control, right? Being demeaned, being controlled based on your race is literally one of the biggest problems we faced in our existence as a species. And now we're perpetuating it, right? For what? For what? For some sense of justice, right? There's no justice in perpetuating injustice. Like that sounds like stupidity 101 again. Oh, no, 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 no. I did. I did do that for you, Joydeep. I read that piece. And here we are at the other side of it. You want to help me pull a card, John?
Yes.
Let's see if sacred geometry gives us some clarity. Race is always a part of the conversation. I can never divorce my experience from race or gender. Your experience is literally, right, intertwined with race and gender. Because that race and gender is again change, Joydeep. And the point I have made thousands of times in the stream is that there are two parts of everything, right? There is a polarity to this experience.
Yeah.
There is the part that is unchanged, the part that is conscious, the part that chooses to show up in love for this experience. And then there's the part that is the change, right? The part that you couldn't choose, the part that is your skin color, that is your body, that is your circumstances, that is your environment, right?
Also,
Please.
like feel like people don't realize how many white South Africans also grow up in extreme poverty.
Yeah, like
Extreme poverty. Like it's not a joke. Like
Yeah, like, and again, it's like, for me, it's like, it shouldn't be a race thing, dude. Like I feel
Yeah.
like, again, when I talk about the ideals I have for the future of like food for everyone, it's not food for everyone, but and then
Yeah.
enter race name here. No, never. It's like every person that can show up for a meal is deserving of one.
there is poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
Point.
Like that's the problem. And again, every single time we look into these problems, right? Like the change that is our skin,
The
the separation that is our genders, right? We are blocking ourselves from working on the change that is necessary, right? There is gonna be this unchanged part of us, the conscious part of us, that can be here for this experience, right? And it will be here for this experience, even if that experience is suffering, even if that experience needs to see other people literally die of starvation. It will stay, if it can, for that experience, right? But in my mind, I don't think that is good. I don't think the experiencer wants to experience that. So we need to look at the change that needs to be made, and not the change that is unchangeable. Like you cannot change your skin color. You cannot change your gender.
I wish we could just 3D print Alan Watts and make him president of every country.
Dude, that would not be a good idea. Alan Watts wouldn't be a good president, unfortunately. Alan Watts is a great philosopher, and I love him.
But imagine the world state.
I
It
don't
would
even
be
think
pure chaos.
I don't even think I would be a good world president, bro.
No, but,
right?
but
Like,
it would be pure chaos.
it's already pure chaos, man. What do you mean? All right. Also, I have not once said that I experience any deprivation or negativity to being a woman of color. Yet you have spent the entire conversation playing the victim. That is very interesting indeed. I wasn't the victim of anything. I wasn't trying to be a victim. What I was trying to say is that we shouldn't use labeling words like that. Again, that's a form of control. That's a form of control. Literally. It's a form of control. And
Even
I will not
having-
let myself be controlled like that. That's the point I'm making. I'm not being a victim. I'm saying no. It's like trying to get raped. And I'm like, no.
and
I'll
having-
fucking rip your eyes out.
and
I will.
having pride for a label like that is
Yeah.
also an act of race because it divides you. Like, I am proud to be this, and you're not this. All of you are not this. It's like a separation as well.
Yeah, we're not separate. This experience is very deeply intermingled, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Enjoy the American experience. Same as being white is different from Melton, post-apartheid South Africa. I was very short-mouthed. People didn't notice the tiny, hungry ferret. Joy, because his world, he has felt like victimhood. I mean, you know, like I have been taken advantage of a bunch in my life. So, yeah, take that as you will. I don't consider myself a victim at all. I believe I'm here to do good things.
And
if-
everyone goes through things, man. This is the building blocks of our beings.
Exactly.
This is how we become who we are. Like, people go through shit. And it's not because of the color of your skin, man. We go through things to learn what we need to learn to prepare us for the life we have to lead.
I feel like that's in part why I'm like getting so like defensive as well, because I'm literally showing up day by day trying to learn how to be
Yeah.
a better person, and then I see this like state of being in humanity that will not let me be the person I am because I'm white. Like, oh no, you can't be this person you're trying to be because you're white, right? And that fucking enrages me.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me very angry because it's again an injustice. It's an injustice. You are not being just. And that's like you can call that what you want. You can call that interesting if you want to, Joy V, but I think you're at fault. And I am saying that very genuinely. And like I do not approve like the way you're making me feel. And I don't know why. I don't know what you're gaining out of this. Seriously. Probably heard from parents complaining too. Surely there are better things to compare than rape. No, it's not. Right? It's like having a feeling forced onto you. That's what this feels like. Right? I'm a very fucking sensitive person. Fucking shut up.
Do you want to stop?
You can tell me when you want to.
Stop.
Feels pretty appropriate.
Yes, see.
It's called phase mandala. It's a like a moon cycle card.
Yeah.
Talks about cycles, so it talks about changing. The exact feeling of people who can't get certain jobs and opportunities because of color of skin or texture of hair. It persists here too. And the point I'm trying to make is, why are we bringing that into our space? Right? Have I perpetuated that? Yes or no? Have you perpetuated that? Yes or no? And if yes or no, then what? Right? Why are we bringing this into our sacred space? Right? Why are we trying to separate ourselves? Right? And literally I'm saying that word ourselves because that has been made clear. That is like one of the things that we're integrally, a part of. That we cannot. Fucking hell, bro. Like my brain is so skizzed right now. Like it feels like I'm having like an extreme autism flare up or like a fucking tantrum or just
I get it.
rip my own hair out, fucking. But I'm like, no, relax, calm down.
Don't do that. No.
This is fucking dude. Phase mandala. Cycles and movement. Living in cooperative balance with movement through cycles is the message of this card. We watch the moon as she rolls around the earth and shows us the many faces of her phases. We experience the cycles of nature and the turning of seasons and the phase of solid, liquid, and gas. We cycle from child to midlife to elder with the awareness, conception, manifestation, completion. Everything moves in cycles and then begins anew. Mindful advancement through phases gives personal symbolic meaning to any event. Look to the underlying energy and movement rather than the actual event. On some level, a physical move, a new job, or a creative project, a birth, or an expansion relationship is similar energetically. Each involves your intention to move towards new possibilities and fruition of your personal dream. Each and the spiritual growth of your being. Each moves you towards the evolution of your vision. Honor the progression of movement in your current situation. The progression of movement in my current situation.
Yes. I like the label humanness as well.
Mm.
Yes. This is the only label that should be pushed.
Thank you, John. That's very beautiful. From childhood to adulthood to midlife to elder with the movement of our humanness.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is as well, bro. Calling people by a color makes them less than human to me, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Because and I literally ChatGPT.
You dismiss so much of a person's character after that.
Yeah, like, and it's literally 0.01 to 1.5 maximum millimeters of a
Pigment
person.
difference.
Yeah. That you're dismissing their humanness for. Their feelings. You're dismissing what your words may do to them. Right? Like, if you think there's something wrong with racism, then don't perpetuate it. Right? If you think that's a bad feeling to feel, then don't make others feel that way. Basically complete the cycle, and move forward. Realize you may not be able to reverse phases. However, you can move with them. Yeah. That does work. I think there's simply two people with different lenses trying to come to terms. It's just not possible. We are not a global society. We are a region. I hear you. We're all sensitive people on here, and there's one reason why you might try hard in the future instead of equating words that frustrate you with a violent sex act. Don't fight me on this, Mel. You're right. It feels very forced. It feels very forced, bro. And again, that word is also equated to control, by the way. Right? Like, those violent sex acts are not coming from a place of love or from a place of pleasure. They're coming from a place of control. And that was what today's stream topic was about. I'm not trying to fight you on it. I still think it is the word that needed to be used in that moment for me to communicate how I was feeling, right? And that's what words do. Words are used to make the other person feel what you're feeling. That's why we speak to each other, right? So, unfortunately, we have only so many words, you know.
I also think that people don't understand that the way your brain functions, you can experience a traumatic event like that just through words. Like that can destroy you more than someone physically trying to attack you.
It does,
or-
bro.
Yeah,
Like it
so-
does. Like if someone tries to like hit my body, like I'll fucking hit you back and then I'll forget about it. But like you thinking something about me like that, saying stuff like that to me about that, you know, I'm not gonna fucking let go of that for the next who knows how long. Right? It's gonna stay with me. So take that how you will. Two people trying to find common ground at a mountaintop after climbing very different mountains. One total rainforest trek and the other a mountain of freeze fest. That is pretty accurate. One won't be able to relate at all except for the sheer fact of mountain climbing is really hard. That's beautiful, bro. Despite current words, we all love each other. This is hard stuff we're talking about, and it takes a loving group to work through it. I haven't left. I haven't just like hit the, you know, like, no, I'm just leaving now. I'm not gonna be here for this conversation. I'm staying, right? And that to me is the biggest act of love I can give. To be so vulnerable and tender, and still to give my presence. So, I completely agree with you, Kristen. We are still very much showing up with a place of love. No. I'm not taking your words as an attack. I'm agreeing with you, Kristen. I'm very much agreeing with you, and appreciating that love. Thank you for doing the same. Right? It goes both ways. You still being here in your presence for this moment, despite the tenderness, the tension, that is an act of love as well, you know, so it goes both ways. I have pulled my card. All good, hugs all around. Thank you. Oxytocin. I feel good. I will dance with Mary Jane and then say goodbye. Hey Max!
Whoa.
How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling fantastic.
Lucky you.
Ooh.
It's cold out.
Chilly. I just got done washing dishes and I'm like,
Ooh.
chilly. My hands are frozen, my jacket's like a little wet.
Bro, thank you for the dishes,
You're
man.
welcome.
Bless you, bro.
My feet got a little wet. They're frozen.
Oh,
My toes-
you're wearing
like-
socks.
Fucking.
Get
I feel like I stepped into the fridge now. It's rough.
Yeah, like it's been like doing yoga today as well. I was like, my shirt felt like a sheet of glass. I would just say it like that. A sheet of glass that was just like dangling over my body. Oh.
It almost feels wet cold.
Right?
Like it does.
That's what I mean with the sheet of glass thing. It's like it's like you're pushing your body up against glass.
Like when you touch the shower wall.
Yeah.
Like that.
Joy Beef's scarf has been
Great,
keeping
that's
me
like
warm.
touching your brand, right? So many times. So many times.
I'm just too short, so I'm fine as long as I don't do this.
My grand shower, that's so low.
That's true, bro.
Like-
Like I'm just too tall for that shower.
Oh, you also just too tall. Max as well showering like this.
Me and Max did the whole head bend thing at the exact
I can
same
literally
time.
perfectly stand underneath it like this, bro.
Just like perfect height. To
But
fit.
I have to bend if I want to wash my hair, you know.
Your grandma's also short.
She's
Yeah.
very
And
short.
Umfreki is
so-
also short?
Yo, Umfreki is like this.
So all of you can fit under this. Bro, because like I go to John's place to shower for the first time. I walk into the shower and this shower is shorter than I am. I'm like, how has nobody like noticed this?
This fucking family of dwarves.
Now I realize that's probably why. Oh
That
goodness,
was my
that's
first reaction as well.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
these fucking short people in this family now gotta stand like this, bro. And it's cold, so I touch the window and then I move and then I hit my head against the thing and I'm like,
I literally like flared my legs, so I stood wide.
stand wide now. Fucking power squatting. You have power squat shower.
Please no.
It looks like you're practicing Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Joey V, if I'm trying to already look through it, like I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened. I think the thing that really got me is you repeating my words back to me with like a snicker, with like a disrespect, with like a just a lack of respect, you know. Like I thought in the amount of rapport we built with one another, respect isn't something that I have to kind of like ask for, but I guess, you know, I was mistaken. I was mistaken. And that, you know, doesn't feel very good to my ego, I guess, or whatever. So I'll take responsibility. I'll take responsibility. I'm not perfect. But I know love is true, and I know I'll see you friends again soon. Maybe not. I don't know that actually. I know I'll show up again soon. Let's see. We can stop you for now, and then we can say, today we talked about control and how there are so many things in this world that can control us, do control us. Some of them we let control us. Some of them we choose whether or not they control us. I believe something at the end of the day is going to control you, and all you really have control over is choosing what controls you. Please do write me a goodbye message and a poem to beautifully encapsulate this understanding and message. One of your mom's lights are...
Not
Not
Sussy will bust.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't tell her. I think she's gonna like that information. She's gonna be just gonna
Something she
worry.
wants to know.
I know, yeah, she's gonna worry about it.
She's gonna talk about it a lot.
Oh, remember? These lights are bad. Alright. Wow. The goodbye message is very short. It's interesting how like it called me to do the same thing you called me to do. Oh, that's awesome. Jovan wrote us a goodbye message. Thank you for the apology, Jovi. I don't feel like I need to forgive you, but I understand being an ego. Yeah. I apologize as well. I don't think I used the words apology like that, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I let my own bullshit steer the ship. You know, you were loved. It's telling me to tell you, reflect on what you allow to control your life. Choose consciously, knowing you hold the power to decide what guides you. And now for our goodbye message from Jovan. Let me refresh quickly. There we go, still here. Hey Nancy, we're just about done. We're just about done. Me and Joy Vive just said sorry to each other. So like we won and you're here to like see the aftermath. We're like, all of us are like dancing, you know, there's like fireworks going off. That's the vibe totally. That was that was a goodbye message from Melt AI. Wow, yeah, yeah. It was pretty short. It was pretty short. I'm gonna read your bunch instead. Oh, lights.
Yes.
Nice.
There are three, so there's one for here and then
An
two
extra.
for the living room.
Oh, it's true.
So we don't have one yellow, one still.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
We replaced.
good luck getting those things off of there.
Oh,
I
those-
tried.
those-
I tried. I don't know how. Like they're put on there by like will of God. Like, I don't know how to get them off. I tried. So, like I tried like more than I want to admit. I tried, and I'm like scared. Like the only trying harder is destruction. Like and I'm like so again, and I'm saying that very liberally because you're either supposed to pry those little prongs off of the glass and then slip the glass off.
Yeah.
Which I tried, and I don't think there's enough room for those prongs to move far enough to get that glass to slip off. So the other option is make that thing come out. That's the only option.
How
I
much did you try?
have. Not that it was short, I found it profound. Let me read it again. Reflect on what you allow to control your life. Choose consciously, knowing you hold the power to decide what guides you. I'm happy that you appreciate. I mean, maybe it's more profound because it chose to like use the same words you chose to use. You know, with the whole reflection, especially based on the day we had. I think that definitely does affect things, but I appreciate you appreciating it. I could say, have the most calming day, everyone. You're so super loved, listened to, and considered. Melt and all of you. Oh, so harmonizingly heavenly, super similarly celestial, charismatically creative, intricately intelligent, thoughtfully thorough, thoroughly thoughtful, considerably capable, amazingly authentic, wholesome humanimal critter creatures, maintaining composure in the absence of control. Yo. I mean, I think I find that more profound because again, it feels so personal. So I feel so seen. I feel so considered. Thank you, Jean. I love that. I have this week off for a mental health break. Bless. I hope you get to rest. Take good care of yourself, Nancy. We love you. Let's not be controlled by our emotions and ego, like we lived our today's topic in real time in stream, literally, like legitimately. And I mean, like sometimes, and I was like, I did say that when I like took that moment of silence to just like sit and think about what the fuck just happened, right? That was the lesson for me of like, hey, bro, you're being controlled right now by something. Are you choosing? Are you choosing to be controlled by this thing? Right? And like asking these questions and being like, oh. And to learn how things spin out of control when controlled by your emotions and ego, literally. Thank you, Joy V, for showing up. Good for you, Nancy. I was off last week, but it was a mental health break, and now I need a mental health break this week. Take one, double up. I'm going to go yell into the void and consume a bottle of vodka. Laters. Fit. Consume a bottle of water first. Consume 2 bottles of water first. And then start with a bottle of vodka. Like, could you do that for me? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. If I could ask anything, that's what I ask of you. Is to start with the 2 bottles. The 2 bottles of water first. You know? I'm sorry if my use of words inadvertently induced the lack of control in you as well. And I do take some responsibility and psychological weight considering that. But I love you, and I'll see you here again soon, friend. Right? Next time I won't be as triggering. Fit, cheers. May I recommend pineapple juice on its own? Yay, yeah. So 2 bottles, just water. 1 bottle, just pineapple juice. Maybe 1 bottle vodka. But start with those first. I hope it's not a very big bottle. Pineapple juice is delicious. Wrap it no bigger than the problem requires, I promise. Alcohol is not a solution. No, it is actually. It's quite literally a solution because it dissolves your insides. So please do not consume it. I am so cold and I have said goodbye. I'm gonna go inside. I love you, friends. Gee. Thank you. Thank you for having so much control over yourself to not click away from this train smash of a stream. Love is true. Yes. Oh, what a blessing those words are to read. Yes, Joy V. Love is true. Love you, friends. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow.